I now note that the hour has come. Ms. McDonald, will you please call the roll to take attendance? Members that are in attendance, will you please indicate that you are present when your name is called?
Councilmember Gilmore Richardson.
Present.
Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Gaudier. Councilmember Phillips. Councilmember O'Rourke.
Present.
Vice Chair Squilla.
Present.
Chair Driscoll.
Present. Thank you. A quorum of the committee is present and the hearing is now called to order. This is the public hearing of the Committee on Licenses and Inspections regarding Bill number 250292 and Bill number 240666. Ms. McDonald, will you please read the title of the bills?
Bill number 250292, an ordinance amending Chapter 9-600 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Service and Other Businesses to add business hour restrictions in the 1st, 7th, 8th, and 8th councilmanic districts, all under certain terms and conditions. Bill number 240666, an ordinance amending Chapter 9-1000 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Trades by adding requirements and establishing certain limits related to electrical contractors, all under certain terms and conditions.
All right, we're going to start with Bill number 240666. Before we begin, I would like to recognize Councilmember Nina Ahmad. I think they got one.
I don't have a microphone there. So, good morning, Chair and members of the committee. I'm Councilmember Dr. Nina Ahmed. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today in strong support of Bill 240666, introduced by my colleague, Councilmember Driscoll, Chair of this committee. This bill is a critical companion to legislation I introduced, Bill 240674, which establishes new certification requirements for electric vehicle maintenance in the city of Philadelphia. We passed Bill 240674 to ensure that as electric vehicles become more common, our workforce is properly trained, our residents are protected, and our transition to clean transportation is both safe and equitable. But in order for that vision to become reality, we need a mechanism for enforcement, and that's exactly what Bill 240666 provides. Without this bill, the Department of Licenses and Inspections cannot update the Eclipse licensing system, notify affected license holder, or properly enforce the new standards that took effect on April 1st, 2025. That leaves our legislation vulnerable and leaves Philadelphians without the protections they deserve. We know that EVs are the future, and this transition must be accessible and safe for all communities, not just who can afford the latest technology or navigate complex licensing rules. Clear, enforceable standards help level the playing field and ensure small contractors and workers, especially in historically underrepresented neighborhoods, have the training, clarity, and opportunity they need to thrive in this growing green economy. This bill may be technical in nature, but the impact is far-reaching. It strengthens our climate policies, supports economic opportunity, and makes government work the way it's supposed to. I respectfully urge the committee to support Bill 240666 out with a favorable recommendation so we can move it to the council floor and give LNI the tools they need to uphold the law. Thank you.
And thank you, Councilmember, for your hard work on this important bill. Ms. McDonald, will you please call the first panel we have to testify this morning on Bill number 240666?
Alex Palmer.
Good morning. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Good morning, Chairperson Driscoll and members of the Licenses and Inspections Committee. My name is Alex Palmer, and I am the Director of Enforcement for the Department of Licenses and Inspections. Today, I'm here to provide testimony on Bill number 240666, introduced by Chairperson Driscoll on behalf of Council President Johnson, which would amend Title IX of the Philadelphia Code to create additional licensing certifications for electrical contractors who seek to repair and install electric vehicle chargers. The department is supportive of this bill as it builds upon the work of both the department and this committee. On September 4th, 2024, Mayor Parker signed Bill number 240500 into law, which created a process by which the Department of Licenses and Inspections could ensure that electric vehicle charging stations were safely and efficiently installed. This bill, introduced by Councilmember Ahmad, was an important first step in regulating electric vehicle charging stations, but unfortunately, the department was not able to take additional enforcement action against improperly installed charging stations and those who install them without a licensing requirement. This bill would allow the department to ensure that only those contractors who have an additional EV certification are able to do this technically challenging work safely and efficiently. We respectfully request that this legislation be reported out of committee favorably so that we may begin this important work.
Alex, thanks for your testimony. Members, do we have any questions for the panel? Hearing none. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Ms. McDonald, would you please call the next witness on bill number 240666?
Larry McCray and Ignatius Fletcher Jr.
Good morning. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Good morning. My name is Ignatius Fletcher Jr. I'm a 20-year member of Local Union 98. I'm a fourth-generation electrician, and I'm currently an instructor at Local 98's apprentice training, ATEI. In an effort to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and mitigate the negative effects of climate change for future generations of Philadelphia residents, the transition from traditional automobiles to electric vehicles is a necessity. All right, in order to accomplish these hefty yet attainable goals, the need for an increased EV charging network and maintenance workforce is imperative. Both the EV charging network and workforce is important to Local 98 and the IBW in our city. Apprentice training, through education and training in modern technologies such as EV charging systems, will work towards attaining the goal of a better and cleaner environment. These goals come with the caveat of having the equipment installed safely, on time, and reliably. The IBW and Local 98 are prepared with a skilled and educated workforce that only the IBW can produce. I have been a full-time instructor for over 9 years and have been involved in many aspects of the electrical industry, including safety, National Electric Code, life safety systems, and emerging technologies. The emerging technology courses I teach to apprentices and journeymen alike include photovoltaics, which is solar, lighting control systems, energy storage, microgrid training, as well as EV charging systems. EV charging systems is a technology that the IBW and NECA have been focused on for many years now. Electrical Vehicle Training Program, EVITP, is the first certification course for installing electric vehicle equipment in the U.S. and was developed in 2011. My father, a retired member and instructor, was involved with the development and adoption of that course's use in the IBW and when it was first started. IBW and NECA partnered together to install the first EV charging system in Montgomery County in 2011 at King of Prussia Plaza. While EVs and its charging equipment may be a new technology to many, it is something that we have been involved with for quite some time. The key to any electrical installation or maintenance is to have a knowledgeable and experienced electrician working on and completing the project. Our IBW Local 98 electricians understand the challenges and safety concerns that come with this equipment. Traditional troubleshooting and testing techniques are not enough, and in many cases will not work on EV charging systems. Testing of this equipment will require it to be energized in order to gain proper readings and information. Only a qualified person is able to complete these projects in a safe and timely manner with the reliability that the equipment will work as intended. A qualified person, as defined by NFPA 70E, the National Electrical Code, is one who has skills and knowledge related to the construction and operation of electrical equipment and installations and has received safety training to recognize and avoid these hazards involved. That definition best describes all of our IBW 98 members. Local 98 members and apprentices can and have received training in the EVIT program to become certified installers. Our current apprentice curriculum includes the EVITP course in its 5th-year apprenticeship program. The EVCS course involves lessons on electric vehicles and the history of them, the electrical vehicle charging equipment involving level 1, 2, quick charging and wireless charging, the NEC, advanced load calculations, site assessment, commissioning, and troubleshooting. At the completion of this 20-hour course, the student must take an online certification exam, a third-party provided assessment from EVITP. This course and documentation provides our members and knowledge and skills related to charging products and associated equipment on the market today. Electrical workers completing this training go to work with the ability to implement best practices in areas such as charging station equipment, infrastructure site assessment, load calculations, installations, commissionings, and troubleshootings. While to some, the installation and maintenance of EV charging systems may seem like any other electrical installation, there are unique electrical hazards that can arise from improper installation. Without a thorough understanding of how the equipment is designed to keep consumers and the public safe, it would be unlikely that a worker can test these devices properly to assure that safety. An EV charger requires unique EV charging simulator test equipment to be able to identify the proper safety protocols of the equipment and the pin configuration. Without the verification of these tests, it can pose a hazard and safety concern to those using the equipment. The other concern is the understanding of the load requirements needed to be able to add these devices to an existing electrical panel or electrical service without overloading it. If overloaded, there's a risk of an electrical fire. We at Local 98 support Bill 240666 as we see it provides more comprehensive procedures to assure the safe installation and maintenance of EV charging supply equipment throughout the city of Philadelphia. Our members go through a 5-year state-accredited apprenticeship program, which includes 1,080 classroom hours and 8,000 on-the-job training hours. Throughout this program, they receive OSHA 30 training, 70E electrical safety training, and EVITP. I can't imagine anyone more qualified for EV charging systems installation than our dedicated members. And again, we at Local 98 support Bill 240666. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Before we begin with your testimony, Madam Leader, we have some special guests in the house today. I'd like to recognize the children and students from St. Hilary's. So I understand that you folks were up, did you go up to the tower? Tomar, were they up to the tower? How about that view? Stand up. Yes. And we have to tell you that you have one of the finest principals in the region. Eileen Fagan is wonderful. She does a tremendous job. We're big fans of hers, and we want to welcome to City Hall and her husband, Hal Fagan, all they do for the children of this region. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, please proceed with your testimony. State your name for the record.
My name is Larry McCray. I've been a member of Local 98 since 1968, as a contractor since 1979, electrical contractor in Local 98. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of Bill number 240666, introduced by Councilmember Driscoll on behalf of Council President Johnson and referred to the Committee on License and Inspections. This ordinance proposes essential amendments to Chapter 9-1000 of the Philadelphia Code, which governs trades and professional license in our city. Specifically, it changes the definitions of electrical contractors by requiring that any contractor seeking to install, maintain, upgrade electrical vehicles chargers must submit proof of completion of electrical vehicle infrastructure training program or an equivalent program approved by the Department of License and Inspection. This measure is both timely and necessary to implement Councilmember Ahmad's legislation requiring electric vehicles, chargers, City of Philadelphia parking spaces to be structurally safe and fully operational. As Philadelphia embraces the shift to clean energy and electric transportation, it is critical that our EV charging infrastructure is not only accessible, but also safe, code compliant, installed by professionals with the proper training and certifications. By mandating verified training for electrical contractors working on EV chargers, this bill ensures that our transition to electric mobility will not be compromised public safety or technical standards. Moreover, by explicitly prohibiting unqualified contractors from installing EV chargers, Bill 240666 establishes clear enforcement boundaries that will help uphold accountability and prevent substandard work that could pose a risk to users or undermine trust in our growing EV network. I commend Councilmember Ahmad for leading this effort and urge this committee to move the bill forward for full council consideration. It reflects a smart future-facing policy grounded on safety, professionalism, and the city's broader sustainable goals. Thank you for your leadership and commitment to Philadelphia's infrastructure and public welfare.
Thank you for your testimony. Do we have any questions or comments from the members? Hearing none. And no further questions for this panel. Ms. McDonough, would you please call the next panel to testify this morning on Bill number 240666?
Marissa Diaz and Matthew Dominic.
Good morning. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Yes, good morning. Marissa Diaz. Good morning, Committee Chair and honorable members of City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Marissa Diaz, and I serve as the CEO of EV Fast LLC, a Philadelphia-based company specializing in full-service electrical vehicle charging infrastructure solutions. We work with commercial, municipal, multifamily residential, and institutional clients. We manage projects from the site evaluation, unit procurement, permitting, and all the stages of installation and maintenance. Our team of electrical contractors, engineers, and architects have extensive experience in their respective fields and are backed by multiple certifications and professional licenses. I'm here today to offer my strong support for Bill 240666, which will establish licensing and oversight requirements for electrical contractors who install EV chargers in the city of Philadelphia. Earlier this year, Council took an important step with the passage of Bill 240674, establishing essential permitting protocols for EV charger deployment. That was an excellent start, but permitting without workforce regulation is incomplete. To truly safeguard the public and our infrastructure, we must ensure that all individuals physically installing these systems are properly trained, licensed, and qualified. That's precisely what Bill 240666 addresses. There are four main reasons why this bill is important. One is critical safety risks. EV chargers, especially level 2 and DC fast chargers, draw high electrical loads. These systems require precise integration with existing panels, adherence to local code compliance, as well as NEC Article 625, which outlines the requirements for EV charging equipment, installation, safety, and overcurrent protection. When unlicensed individuals install these systems, they create serious risks. There are fire hazard risks from undersizing wiring or overloading circuits, electrocution from improper grounding or wiring, and equipment failure that threatens vehicles, properties, and lives. The second important reason is unlicensed work often bypasses permits. Without clear license requirements, installations that skip permitting and avoid L&I inspections undermine accountability and public safety. Licensed electricians are required to follow official permitting processes, comply with code, and ensure inspections that can catch errors before they become dangerous. The third reason is that Philadelphia's infrastructure requires extra caution. As one of the oldest urban grids in the country, Philadelphia has densely packed neighborhoods, aging electrical systems, and many properties that need load analysis before EV charger installation. Poorly executed installations can stress local circuits or even destabilize portions of the grid, especially in residential zones. The fourth reason that this bill is important is that consumer protection is at stake. Without proper standards, businesses may unknowingly hire unqualified installers. Insurance claims can be denied if damage results from unlicensed work, and there's little recourse when systems fail or worse, cause harm. There are also broader benefits to this bill. This bill is also an opportunity. By setting clear requirements, Bill 240666 will help grow a local workforce of trained, licensed electricians equipped for the EV economy. EV installation jobs are high quality, good paying, and union-supported jobs with a strong future. Cities like New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles have already required licensings for their EV charger installations. So in conclusion, Bill 240666 is not restrictive, it is protective. It safeguards the public safety, Philadelphia's aging electrical infrastructure, consumers and property owners, and the credibility of the EV transition itself. I respectfully urge you to adopt Bill 240666 and ensure that the EV charging infrastructure in Philadelphia is built safely, built properly, and built to last. Thank you for your time and leadership.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Matt Dominic. I am partner of MPC Charging, distributor for EnviroSpark Energy Solutions. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of Bill number 240666. This bill updates the criteria for electrical contractors by requiring individuals working on electric vehicle charging stations to complete the Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Training Program, also known as EVITP, or a similar program approved by the Department of Licenses and Inspections. This requirement is a vital step towards supporting Councilmember Ahmad's efforts to ensure that EV chargers installed across Philadelphia are not only operational, but also structurally sound and reliable. As our city moves to adopt cleaner energy solutions and expand electric transportation, it's imperative that that the installation and maintenance of EV charging infrastructure be handled by professionals with the proper training and credentials. By requiring specific training, this bill raises the bar for quality and safety in EV charger installation. It also introduces clear standards to prevent unqualified individuals from performing this specialized work, helping to avoid hazards, reduce costly errors, and build confidence in the city's growing EV network. I commend Councilmember Ahmad for championing this legislation and urge the committee to move it forward for a full council vote. This bill is a smart, forward-thinking measure that supports public safety and Philadelphia's long-term environmental goals. Thank you for your continued leadership and your commitment to strengthening the city's infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you both for your testimony. And hearing no further questions from the members, I'd like to transition back to Bill number 250292. Ms. McDonald, will you please call the first panel we have to testify this morning on Bill number 250292?
Commerce Director Karen Fegley.
Yeah, go ahead. Go. Good morning. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Good morning, Councilmember Driscoll and the Committee on Licenses and Inspections. My name is Karen Fegley, Acting Commerce Director. I am actually going to read the testimony today of Deputy Commissioner Francis Healy on behalf of Police Commissioner Bethel. So thanks for the opportunity to provide testimony today on Bill 250292. The Philadelphia Police Department appreciates and shares City Council's commitment to addressing quality of life and public safety issues associated with certain late-night commercial operations. We recognize the intent behind this legislation and value the ongoing collaboration that continues to shape safer neighborhoods throughout our city. The department's primary concern is the proposed expansion of the curfew provisions to encompass the entirety of the 7th and 8th councilmanic districts. As you know, when the initial series of business curfew bills were passed last year, The police department agreed to take sole responsibility for their enforcement. This decision was based on those bills' limited scope and their focus on areas with a documented history of late-night crime and disorder. Since then, the PPD has led enforcement efforts, concentrating its work on specific commercial corridors. This targeted approach has allowed the police to deploy limited resources more effectively, focusing on locations where late-night business activity has had the greatest impact on public safety. This bill represents a substantial shift in scope. Expanding the curfew zone to include every neighborhood within the 7th and 8th districts would dramatically increase both the number of businesses affected and the geographic area requiring enforcement. This change introduces significant operational challenges. The police department continues to operate under constrained staffing and resource conditions, broadening our enforcement responsibilities to cover the entirety of 2 councilmanic districts would require officers to conduct late-night compliance checks across a much larger footprint. This would likely result in inconsistent or uneven enforcement. In short, we are concerned that the legislation with the proposed amendments would create expansive new enforcement obligations without the necessary resources to fulfill them effectively. We remain fully committed to improving quality of life and public safety and stand ready to work with council toward that shared goal. Thank you again for the opportunity to testify. And I'll say from the Commerce Department, I echo Deputy Commissioner Healy's words on this. We certainly understand the issues and stand committed to working with you, but this bill does present challenges. From a Commerce Department view, the need to educate businesses. We worked really hard to try to educate the businesses that were affected by the original bill. It took a lot of time to really go door to door and do that. We wouldn't have the ability to do this within the 60 days before this is enforced. It also makes our rules confusing. I mean, for a business to not, depending what side of the street they're on, the rules are different, and even the curfews are different. Times in different districts, different types of businesses are impacted. That's just very confusing, and it's against our trying to make Philadelphia a business-friendly city, a place that it's easy to open and operate. But mostly because Philadelphia has a nighttime economy, and an active nighttime economy is a healthy part of a city. So there are businesses, there are hospital workers, there are manufacturing companies, there are transportation and logistics companies that are employing folks who are working overnight. And those folks deserve to be able to get gas or groceries or even childcare. We checked it out. Pre-COVID, there were 164 licensed 24-hour childcares in our city. There are far fewer right now. It looks like there's about 60 that are operating. But that just shows the demand for folks to, that have to work overnight. And as the Commerce Department, we're concerned about the message that this sends. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Acting Director, and congratulations on your new position. And we appreciate your testimony, and thank you for reading into the record Commissioner Healy's, duly noted. Do we have any questions from the panel? Then, okay, we're good. Hearing no questions, I'd like to move into public comment on both bills. Ms. McDonald, will you please call the first person making public comment? We have to testify this morning on the bills before this committee today.
There are no names for public comment.
On either bill?
None.
Neither bill, okay. Well, I'd like to thank all the witnesses for joining us today. And that would conclude the business of the committee. And now, I'd like to move into no other witnesses testify on the bill number 250291 and bill number 240666. And there's no other either public comment. I'd like to thank everyone for their participation. This concludes the public hearing of the committee. We will now go into public meeting and consider the action to be taken on the bills before this committee today. Ms. McDonald, will you please call the roll to take attendance? Members that are in attendance, please indicate that you are present when your name is called.
Councilmember Gilmore Richardson. Present. Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Gaudier. Councilmember Phillips. Councilmember O'Rourke. Vice Chair Squilla.
Present.
Chair Driscoll.
Present. The chair recognizes Councilmember Squilla for a motion on the amendment to Bill number 250292.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer an amendment to Bill number 250292. A copy of the amendment is circulated to all members of the committee. I move that the amendment to Bill number 250292 be approved.
The chair notes that, for the record, that Councilmember Gilmore Richardson seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that the amendment to Bill number 250292 be approved. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries, and the amendment to Bill number 250292 has been approved. The chair recognizes Councilmember Squilla for a motion on Bill number 250292 as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that Bill number 250202 be amended, be reported with this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended as to permit the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Chair notes that, for the record, that Councilmember Gilmore Richardson seconds the motion and has been moved and properly seconded that Bill number 250292 as amended be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. The motion carries. The chair recognizes Councilmember Squilla for a motion on Bill number 240666.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that Bill number 240666 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended as the first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
The chair notes for the record that Councilmember Gilmore Richardson seconds the motion. It has been moved and properly seconded that Bill number 240666 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further moved that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries. This concludes the business before the Committee on License and Inspection today. Thank you all very much for your attendance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right.